This took me 3 to 4 hours to make, but the result looks like this. The real question, was it actually worth it? Most of the time wasn't even sewing, it was cutting, interfacing and prepping all the zippers. If you get that wrong, the whole bag looks homemade, not in a good way. Because a bad version of this looks uneven, bulky and honestly not worth carrying. This one is fully lined, padded, has structured sides and proper zipper pockets that actually sit flat. But getting this clean finish is not about the sewing, it's about everything before it. Cutting, interfacing, preparing zips. That's where most of the time goes. And if you rush it, the whole bag collapses or twists. So I tested a construction order that actually keeps everything aligned and makes the sewing part surprisingly quick. I'll walk you through exactly how I assembled it, especially the parts that usually go wrong, like the zips and the gusset. Let's start with a step that takes the longest, but makes the biggest difference. You don't need anything complicated, just structured fabric, interfacing, and something for padding. I used linen canvas, but cotton canvas works just as well. If you skip interfacing, the bag will collapse. That's non-negotiable. This one choice determines whether your bag looks professional or not. This is the longest part of the project. Take your time here because accuracy here saves you later. You're cutting outer, lining, interfacing and foam. Everything needs to match. If these are off, your zip will never sit straight. Interfacing is what gives the bag structure. Without it, it just looks soft and unfinished. Apply it before assembly to avoid distortion. The interfacing for the straps and the handles needs to be narrower, avoiding seam allowance to reduce the bulk. Let's start by making a shoulder strap. I thought I was using natural cotton fabric for my straps, but judging by how difficult it is to get the crisp fold lines with a steam iron, I reckon this fabric includes some polyester fibers. So I decided to use quilting tape to keep the edges from unfolding. This step also helped to align both strap pieces. Make the handles the same way. The straps and handles look simple, but messy edges here are very noticeable. Sew both sides of the strap in the same direction to keep them even. Don't sew the handles yet, they will need extra attention later on. Once this step is done, let's move on to the lining pocket. I chose a welt pocket because it sits flat and looks cleaner than a zip pocket inside. Here I made a mistake by drawing the guide on the lining. It really needs to be on the pocket piece. On the interface pocket piece, draw a pocket guide 7 centimeters from the top. Align the lining and the pocket piece with the right sides facing, matching center lines. Cut the guide carefully. This step can land you in A&E. Gently rolling the seam will make the pocket edges neater. Pressing is enough to keep the layers secure. The pins will add unnecessary holes, but you can choose to pin the pocket opening before top stitching. Top stitching will keep everything in place. Sewing the triangles in the reverse will make the pocket stronger. I made the welt pocket larger intentionally to make the turning out easier. The excess fabric can be cut off now without causing any integrity issues. It is important to press the pocket afterwards for a crisp look. With the lining pocket prepared, let's move on to the zips. Prepare 2 zips for outer pockets using the top bag piece as a guide. Make zips smaller to keep away from seams to reduce bulk. We will use zip tabs later to make up the required length. Install the zip pulls. This step is a bit tricky and I failed to film the video. You need 2 zip pulls for front pockets that closes the pocket to the center. The back piece only needs 1 zip. Add zip tabs to lengthen the zips. This step will also make the assembly easier. This is where most people go wrong. Alignment matters more than speed. Backstitch at the start and end. I also go over the zip tease section at least twice to strengthen the seam. Go slow not to break a needle. This step will show whether you have a sharp needle. If it is dull, it will break or skip the stitches. With the zips prepared, let's move on to the pockets. Match the front pocket pieces, ensuring that the straight grain is aligned. Use the zip with 2 pulls. The visible zip section should be positioned equally from both edges. Move the zip pulls away for easier sewing. Top stitching here is what makes it look professional. If this step looks off, the whole bag looks off. Backstitch at the start and end to secure the threads. Pressing with steam is a key step in achieving a high-quality laptop bag. Don't skip this step. Ensure the pocket piece is facing the right way up if the surface pattern is directional and the pocket location match your intentions. Trimming the zip tab will make the alignment accurate and reduces bulky seams. Repeat the sewing and top stitching for a clean finish. Ideally, this top stitching section should have been done before adding the zip. The lining goes on the wrong side with the right side of the lining facing the wrong side of the pocket. Baste in place with the longest straight stitch. Construct the other outer pocket the same way before applying foam padding. Check that the pocket sits in the middle of the foam. As you baste it in place, the foam will shrink a little. I suggest to baste the side edges the same direction to reduce distortion. You may also want to use a walking foot to move all the layers neatly together. Trim any overhanging foam. This will help to assemble the bag more accurately. The lining with the pocket needs to go on the back panel with wrong sides facing. Check that all layers are stuck together accurately before basting. Separate the two pockets on the front outer layer by stitching in the ditch at the joining seams from zip to the bottom. Backstitch at the start and the end to secure the threads. Now that's secured, we can move on to the gusset. This is the step that shapes the entire bag. Attach the foam padding to all outer gusset pieces, basting in place with a seam allowance. Sew in the same direction to reduce this distortion. Align the zip with the upper gusset carefully before basting in place. Trimming the zip ends after the first edge is attached will help align the upper gusset pieces more accurately. The right side of the lining must face the wrong side of the zip. Sew all the layers together. Take your time here, this is where alignment matters most. Matching the edges of the lining and outer layer of the gusset instead of smoothing all layers near the zip will align the outer layer and the lining more accurately. And the top stitching is so much easier. Baste the raw edges to keep the layers secure. Repeat the same steps with the other side of the upper gusset. Then trim the uneven edges for easier assembly later on. Let's assemble the D-ring tabs. Sew as close to the D-ring as you can, backstitching a few times to strengthen the seam. Move the D-ring tab as close to the edge of the lower gusset piece as possible. Closer it will be, the less force it will need to hold. Double stitch for security. Attach the other D-ring before adding the upper gusset with right sides facing. The right side of the lining must face the wrong side of the zip. Sew the gusset ends together before top stitching. Go slow here as there are many layers. A fast sewing will break the needle. Clip from the lining side, slightly bending the gusset to align the lengths of the lining and outer gusset pieces. Due to the rigidity of the bulky outer layer, the lining layer appears longer. This way the lengths of both pieces are closer aligned. Repin if needed. A precision here will make sewing easier. If this twists, the whole bag looks uneven. To reinforce the D-ring tabs, sew crosses over the D-ring tab seam allowance. This is the weakest point in the bag, so extra stitching will strengthen it. With the gusset construction out of the way, let's move on to attaching handles. Neaten the ends of the handles as best as you can. This will be a visible part of the bag. Natural fibres will make this step easy, while synthetic mix will require quilter's tape for a clean finish. Then top stitch along all the 4 edges. Clipping midpoint markers will help with the handle alignment and the final bag assembly. Align the handles in the middle of the bag. I am placing the inside edge of the mine 3 cm from the center. Moving handles higher up from the zip will avoid bulky seams and will give plenty of room for reinforcement. Reinforce the handles properly, this takes the weight. Next we can start assembling the bag. Marking quarter points on the gusset will help the bag align properly. At last you can round the corners, either using a special tool or the laptop bag pattern from my other video as a guide. The rounding of the corners at this stage made all the previous steps easier to complete. Match the quarter points first, the rest will be easier to align. The rounded corners are easier to align from the inside. Clip the outer piece seam allowance to align with the length of the gusset. This is where the bag starts to feel solid. Go slowly over the curves and lift the presser foot to align the pieces. Attach the other side of the bag the same way, but make sure that you have left the zip open to turn the bag right side out later. Once the gusset is attached, we are ready to move on to bias binding. This step hides everything and makes the inside look finished. For this step, clips are easier than pins. Gauge the length of the bias needed, but do not pin the ends in place yet. in case the bias shifts slightly during the sewing. Start sewing slightly beyond the end. Be careful not to catch the other side of the bag or gusset as you sew. Fold the ends of the bias binding as I showed you earlier when I clipped it in place. Fold the bias binding over to hide all the raw messy edges. Next, let's finish the strap. Reinforce the strap slider for durability. Carefully observe how to attach the swivel hook. If the swivel hook is facing the wrong way, redo this step until it looks correct. Hide all the raw edges as best as you can for a professional look. Secure the other swivel hook the same way with reinforced stitching. You can now turn the bag right side out. This is such a satisfactory moment. Push out all the seams as much as you can to shape the bag. Once the strap is attached, the bag is fully functional. So was it worth it? I think so, but only if you take your time with the preparation. The sewing is the easy part. The precision is what makes it look like this. I show how to draft this pattern in a separate video, and if you're making one, take your time with the preparation. That is going to be the difference between amateur laptop bag and one which looks like finished by a professional. I also have a blog post that shows all the instructions step by step. I will leave a link in the description below.